Hello everyone, welcome to the Mean of Tarot channel. In this episode, I'll try to answer a question that is frequently asked: how should we interpret the cards? What should we pay attention to? In the first part of the video, I'll provide information on this topic. In the second part, I'll give bonus information about 10 of Talisman engraved cards, providing some insights that will help you when they appear in spreads. If you're ready, let's get started. Alright, let's dive right into the video. I've actually talked about what I'm going to say about this topic frequently in other videos. If you like my videos, be sure to check out my other ones as well. You'll definitely gain something from them. My latest upload, I know the meanings of the cards but can't interpret them, also touched upon this, but in this video, I'll provide more specific information. First and foremost, I must say that when it comes to tarot and similar decks, the first thing you should prioritize is patience. Let's agree on this. It's not about memorizing the meanings of the cards in 10 days, 1 month, or 2 months and then starting tarot readings. That's not a logical approach. If you do it that way, you'll likely get bored of the whole thing. First of all, learning the cards very well is crucial. However, completing this process in 10 days, 1 month, or 2 months is highly unlikely. You need to give yourself some time. As you give yourself this time, you'll see different aspects of the cards and your tarot readings will become much more diverse. But now, I want to give you some specific information. Firstly, if you want to improve your interpretation skills, you need to talk to the cards frequently. Let's separate this for conversation's sake. There doesn't need to be a special occasion for this conversation. You can directly ask any question that comes to mind on any given day. For example, should I stay at home or go out today? For this question, we can select 3 cards and do a reading. Whether the questions are silly or not doesn't matter. What matters is being able to establish a connection with the cards, in other words, being able to converse with them. This is the best way to do it. For example, I've selected 3 cards, and you can directly make an interpretation related to all 3. Already, the 4 of Wands, which we can call a direct socialization card, has come up. This already directly suggests that we should go out, and there are 2 fire elements. That also influences it. So, staying at home doesn't make much sense. Right now, it's trying to convey something here. You'll try to grasp it, and this won't happen all at once. Close it immediately and ask another question. For instance, how do I feel today? Quickly select our 3 cards. We can say tired. You can converse with the cards one by one like this and answer the question of how you feel. Already, 3 different cards have come up. We can say tired, confident, and exhausted. Later on, we can combine these 3 words into an interpretation. When you do this, after a certain period of time, a communication will develop between you and the cards, a language of communication will develop. But again, I emphasize, first and foremost, you need to learn the cards, and you need to progress step by step. Let's pay close attention to this, and when you do this, trust me, things will progress much faster for you, and at some point, you'll realize that you've developed a special connection with your cards, a unique form of communication has formed, and you're moving forward in this way. The second thing I'm going to talk about is something I've mentioned in my teachings before. Keep a journal. This is a very important thing and a method that has been tried and tested many times and has succeeded. I'm sure when you first start, you're a bit impatient. Of course, this is true for everyone. I don't want to say, don't be impatient. When you've received some training or acquired some knowledge about tarot, you immediately want to start doing spreads. You can do that, but try not to do it for important life matters. You can do simpler spreads, like the ones I mentioned earlier, similar to asking questions about people around you. Of course, while doing this, you shouldn't invade people's privacy. You shouldn't do a spread about someone's personal life without their permission. This can create negative energy. Some people can be negatively affected by this. But you can ask simple questions and progress in this way. Regarding keeping a journal, do a spread and interpret it, like a 3-card spread. Then write it down in your own journal and, after a period of 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, open the same cards again. Interpret them again, and you'll notice a difference between the interpretation you made initially and the one you made after 3, 5, or 2 months. That difference actually shows your progress in this matter. By progress, I don't mean learning the craft, I mean you've started to engage with your cards, started to talk to your cards. In fact, you're expressing and developing this. So, you must do this as well. Now, in the third part, you must pay close attention to spreads. As I said, I've made many videos about them, and I'll upload them to my channel over time. What is tarot? What does tarot tell us? What doesn't it tell us? How should spreads be done? What should you pay attention to in spreads? Write all these down if necessary and apply them. Especially the first thing we'll do is to find out what the houses answer, then we'll look at court cards, element distribution, if there are cards that are each other's opposites. I've already talked about all of these in my past videos. If necessary, write them down on a piece of paper like a checklist and try to progress in this way. As I said, make up scenarios for yourself. Especially make up something related to spreads and try to answer them. Another item related to this topic is types of spreads. There are some special spreads like the Celtic Cross spread, the Secret of Aziza spread, the Astrological Wheel, and these spreads are quite complex and difficult. I'm not in favor of moving on to them immediately. First of all, you can do a relationship spread, a 3-card spread. A 7-card spread is a bit more complicated, but you can do that too. I recommend staying within these spreads initially because the Celtic Cross spread is really a difficult one and requires a certain amount of knowledge. Actually, this is a problem I've experienced with many of my students. Well, let's not call it a problem, but let's say a challenge. When we haven't even finished half of the training, we're trying to do a Celtic Cross spread right away and then we either say it's difficult or we say we can't relate the cards. This is very normal. Because doing a spread like the Celtic Cross requires not only learning the cards but also being in such an exchange of information with our deck. We can only visualize things by just looking at the pictures. We can say something. So, in this regard, you really need to give yourself time. I'm not saying don't do it at all. Definitely push yourself, but don't get into a situation where you think I can't do this. As I said, this is already a difficult spread, not an easy one. Another point I'd like to mention is watching sample spreads. In my opinion, this might be the most effective method. You need to watch spreads frequently. Here, you don't need to learn good, bad, right, wrong, you just need to watch as many sample spreads as possible. There are already plenty of videos on YouTube or elsewhere on the internet. Apart from these, I have them in my own training sessions. I'll try to add more sample spreads there. What I mean is you need to watch the spreads people do. This will give you meaning, you'll see different perspectives, and how cards can actually have very different meanings. For example, pause the video immediately and try to make a small interpretation yourself. Try to do something. Then continue, see how the person you're watching interpreted it, how they looked at each card, what they said, what you said. These differences will be imprinted on your brain one by one, and you'll gain very different perspectives on the cards already. As I always say, no one can give you all the meanings of a card at once. It's not possible. So, you can only acquire this by listening to different people doing different spreads. This can not only give you that ability but also help you progress in a much more logical way. Whenever you have free time, just go watch, you can find them on the internet, on YouTube, in different training sessions related to this topic. Now, I'm moving on to the bonus information section. That's it for my video. I hope they've been helpful. You can even write them down on a piece of paper. You can list them out, write them down, and it would be nice to occasionally refer back to them. Now, moving on to the bonus section, I'll start with the Talismanic 10. The Talismanic 10 is already a packed card, folks. As you can see, it's overflowing from everywhere. It symbolizes the number 10. It's already complete, so after that, you'll move on to the court cards, but what I want to draw your attention to here is that we see 3 different generations here, folks. Look, there's a grandfather here, there's a married couple, these are symbolic, of course, there's a child here, there are 2 dogs, they're in some kind of courtyard. They're surrounded by a safe environment, and there's actually a family here. That's what I'm trying to say. This card symbolizes a very serious family situation. So, when you get this card somehow, don't forget about this family aspect. It should definitely be in your mind. I mean, you don't need to label everything as a family directly every time you see it. It's not like that, but remember that there's a family influence in the background. Our other card is the Coffin card. A card from the Katina deck. It's often confused with the Death card in tarot, and it's definitely not a bad card, let me say that up front. The Coffin card always symbolizes an ending. The event is over. There's no need to continue. You can't revive that event again. The Death card in tarot might be a bit different. Because there's a kind of, how should I say, a situation like rebirth. You've hit rock bottom and now you're going to be reborn, you're going to come out again. But in the Coffin card from Katina, it's not like that. If you see the Coffin card, the event is over. If you're looking at a relationship, that relationship is over. If you're looking at a job, that job is over. If you're looking at a feeling, that feeling is over. You can look for different ways to revive it, do different things, but that event has already ended and gone into the grave. The event is closing, whatever it is, and it's over. So, be careful when you see this card. It would be good to write down this interpretation somewhere. And that's it for my video, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've gained something. I hope you've won something. I hope I've earned the time you've dedicated to me. If you liked my video, I'd be very happy if you liked and subscribed to the video. Apart from that, you can find tarot-related articles on meanoftarot.com. I often share articles there. If you have any questions or any questions related to tarot, you can reach me here. You can write a comment from the Me of Tarot Instagram account or here. I'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. Take care of yourselves. I hope to see you in another video.